This episode of the Fiction Writers Podcast is brought to you by How to Write a Novel That Sells. Do you dream of writing a best-selling fiction novel? With the right tools, you could get there sooner than you think. Visit www.howtowriteanovelthatsells.com and unlock the secrets to writing compelling fiction taught by international best-selling author Lana McAra. Welcome to the Fiction Writers Podcast with Lana McAra, where you will discover tips, tricks, and ideas for fiction that is #unputdownable. Here you'll find new energy, new perspectives, new resources, and new ideas that will spark your creativity into a blaze of brilliance. It's easier than you think. Be sure you visit our website at www.fictionwriterspodcast.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now, get out your notebook, tune in, and let's get started.
Book tables. We see authors at book tables all the time, or maybe you've seen or you've done a book table. Well, here's some tips that might help you today. My name is Lana McAra. Welcome to the Fiction Writers Podcast. Tips, tricks, and ideas for fiction that is #unputdownable. Book tables are a fact of life for the writer. And whether you are traditionally published, hybrid published, or self-published, you will need to do book tables because the marketing rests on your shoulders, regardless of who your publisher is. So what is involved in a successful book table? Well, I have a few things that I've done over the years that I've found to be good things that they really help me along. One of them is to keep people at the table longer, give them reason to stay longer. And I do this in a few different ways. One is to take more than one book. Now, if you only have one book, see if your author friends would like you to put their book on your table. I do this. I have a box with assorted books from author friends. And when I sell one of their books, I send them the money. And it works out really well. Also, because I teach fiction, I keep my eye out for used books in the resources list in my course. And I will take writing resource books and put them on one end of my table and a little sign, discounted books. They usually go first, by the way. So put more than one thing on your table. And then set the table. Make it look nice. Don't go overboard. I've seen people spend tons of money, not necessary, but have some things vertical. So those acrylic stand-up signs that you can print on your printer. I have a 6-foot vertical banner that I put at the end of the table. And those kind of things that are eye-catching. One time I had a little corner shelf and I put books on it. I also put a little tea setting on it because one of my books involved tea. As a matter of fact, poison was in the tea. So that was kind of fun. And it gives you something to talk about. Oh, see the tea setting? Yeah, the poison was in the tea. Yeah, remember that? And so we do those little things to talk about whatever we need to talk about. And then have flyers on the table, have announcements, other things that are coming up, and have some nicely printed flyers. Now, I send the flyers to a printer. I usually use Staples or Office Max. You don't have to go with the high-priced printer, but just get them to make color copies on slick paper. That really looks good. And so I have a flyer with upcoming titles, other things, my website, my podcast, and I fold that page and I stick it in a book when somebody buys a book. So they have something to take home. I also plan for sales. This is so important because you need to consider your table as a pop-up store. How are they going to pay? If you're going to take cash, then you're going to need change. And one way that I handle that is I have all my prices are in $5 increments. So I'm taking $5 bills, mostly 10s, and a couple of 20s to get me started in case somebody comes with a big bill, but $5 bills. And then all that figuring and I need more ones and all that stuff just goes away. So that might cost me $1 or $2 here and there, but I'm willing to take the ease of making change in exchange for that. And then have a way for them to pay with a card. Some people use the Stripe thing. I don't like that because it's failed on me in the past, and I've seen people use it successfully. So maybe you want to do that. But what I do is I have a way to on my phone. I'll pull up Venmo or I'll pull up PayPal and give it to them, hand them the phone, and they put in their card information themselves and make the payment. So figure it out however you want to do it, but make a plan to take a card because people will want to pay with a card. And then keep track of your inventory. How many books did you bring? How many books did you have at the end? And there are a couple things that I do. I have a sell sheet where it's a chart with all the titles going down the first column, and then I can put a tick mark every time I make a sale. And I have 2 columns, cash and card, because I want to know how much cash I should have at the end. So I make that chart with the book title, the price, cash and card. And then I have a column on the other side that's, how many sold or whatever. And then I also, when I'm packing to leave, I count my books and I put the number of books on the cover of the box. So when I bring a box in from the car, I can quickly put on my sell sheet 25 titles of such and such. And then I know what I started with. And then I can figure it out at the end. Now, I don't do all of that figuring at the end. I will count the books and make a note of how many books I have left when I'm packing. But I do the money figuring that night after the event, whether I'm at the hotel or when I get home, I sit down and I do my accounts that night. It's so easy to shove everything in a box, stick it in the closet, done and forgotten, instead of getting those things settled. If you were in a store, a real, brick and mortar store, every morning you start out with an amount of money in the till and you're ready to go for business. At the end of the day, you're figuring up your sales and running all of that information. And you need to think of it in that way. The table is not done until you have run your accounts at the end to see what you did. Now, this does a couple of things. It helps you to see whether that event was worth it to you. And it also tells you if you had any pickup sales or if people walk by and pick stuff up. Is that event worth it to you for that? Is it in a location where people are going to lift your product off the table? All those things come into play when you make your plans for the next time. So make sure that you are keeping track of your sales, of your income, and so forth. And then wear something with pockets. Quick and easy pockets. Could be in a jacket, could be in your slacks, but have pockets. You will need a pen. You'll need your cards. You will need different things that you can just stick in your pocket. When somebody pays you, you want a pocket to stick that in right away. Now, I take an envelope, a small envelope like you would use to mail an envelope, mailing envelope. I seal it and then I cut the top off. So I have an open little packet there and I can stick money in that and take money out of it quickly because I organize the bills. So all the 5s are together, all the 10s are together, and I can quickly find a bill that I need, stick the other money in there and make the change. And then I stick that envelope in my pocket. So those are some things that can help you. Hopefully you got some ideas today. And thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Lana McAra. See you next time.
Thank you for tuning into the Fiction Writers Podcast with Lana McAra, where we share tips, tricks, and ideas for fiction that is #unputdownable. Remember to visit our website at www.fictionwriterspodcast.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Fiction Writers Podcast.